What's up, everybody? Welcome to a Fantasy Life DraftKings live draft. I'm your host, Ian Hartitz, but the star of the show today is Fantasy Life's own Dwain McFarland, who is already drafting. Dwain, how's it going?
What's up, man? It's good. We're going to draft as a team today. I'm going to have to mark this one because I feel it, Ian. I feel like we're going to win $1 million. So I'm going to have to mark this that I drafted this team with you. Don't worry. If it wins $1 million, I'll completely forget like that you did this with me.
Of course, that's how these work after all. But yes, Dwain and I, as much as we always try to get in the same draft, we had the unfortunate, Dwain 12 out of 12, and I am kicking off the next one. So I'm going to be trying to help Dwain with this and then also not completely tank a separate live draft going on. But regardless, it is a great day to be great as always. So Dwain, again, picking from the 104, already just completely ruining our team. No, I'm just
I know.
Jamar Chase, completely fine here. But yeah, pretty much chalk. And yeah, I mean, even seeing AJB go 107, we're starting to work on my wide receiver tiers. And I had it almost and it's, I don't even want to say it's too much of an epiphany, but it almost reminds me of 2 years ago, Dwayne, when we were like, how come we didn't put Stephon Diggs in that top tier? And not that we weren't drafting him, but that's how I almost feel with AJ Brown right now versus the other big 5 wide receivers.
Yeah, I agree. I love AJB. I think that the scheme changes are potentially going to be massive in his favor with so much more motion. Just imagine the things that Tyreek Hill gets to do, the things that Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk get to do that really he's never done. It's just, hey, go out there and line up and beat the other best player across from you. We know with Kellen Moore coming to town, there's going to be a lot more motion, potentially more passing plays as well. I think Nick Sirianni will still want to remain, pass balanced at minimum. So I don't want to get carried away with that. But yeah, man, love AJB. I also love Jamar Chase, who we got. So
yeah, pretty good players all around. Had the luxury of getting to stream with Johnny Daigle this morning on the Fantasy Life show, and the first quarterback he wanted to shout out, Jalen Hurts. And again, just more and more good things about the Eagles offense that Dwayne is obviously awfully high on himself. Appreciate your chat, Miguel. It is indeed a great day to be great. And Matt, we are indeed back. So any questions throughout, guys, feel free to hit us. But Dwayne, on the clock. What we
Chris Olave, in my opinion. That's who I want.
Yeah, I mean, I'm cool.
I mean, the thing you could talk me off of would be Achane. But I love Olave.
Yeah, let's go Olave then.
All right.
If we are going to do this together, you're going to have to show me the available players at some point if you're able.
Okay. Yeah. Just tell me, how do you want me to share those?
Well, you are screen sharing, so
I'm screen sharing the draft for the viewer experience.
No, I know what you're saying.
But, okay. But I could it's kind of running a little.
That's fine. Just honestly, just tell me the three players you're thinking, and then we'll go from there. We're not going to be too far removed on any of them, so I'm cool with that.
Okay, cool.
Player. Oh no, all you gotta do. You see, if you just switch the players tab, we're good.
I know it's just it's kind of laggy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
But yeah, everyone getting this all figured out, and I also got the 104 in the next draft. Fun fact. So. We'll see how that works out. All right, Matt, main question for both of us is, will we eventually see a tweet that says maybe the answer to the Chargers backfield is just no? I think they're cheap enough so that it's hard to kind of be completely out on that sort of situation. But man, it is just interesting with the Chargers. Maybe the answer to the Chargers offense is no at a certain point, because again, I mean, Dwayne and I have kind of come to that realization that if you just look at the skill position groups in LA versus really anywhere else in the league, man, really might be the worst out there. So still think, Gus Bus is going to be that lead back. We'll get more into this in just a second. What are we thinking
on us? But I mean, I think it's Ayuk. I mean, he's falling down the board. We don't.
Why is he falling? What do people think?
I don't know. I'm like, most trade scenarios I think of in my head equal Brandon Ayuk in a better spot. Like, look, you want to play in a good offense with, a quality quarterback, which they have in Brock Purdy, and a great schemer in Kyle Shanahan. But I would trade all of that off for, give me another decent quarterback where he's the clear 1A. Yeah. I mean, the only thing that would kill Brandon Ayuk versus where he's at today is if he just landed on a team with an absolute just dead quarterback.
Vegas.
Right? Yeah, you land in Vegas. Oh, God, that would be terrible. That would, and you have weapons to compete with. Right. Questions in Denver, right? Like, we don't know for sure with Bo Nix right now. Jarrett Stidham is the guy looking sharper at camp, so that could get tricky. But even then, I think I might take my chances with Ayuk going there. Just because I think he would get 150 targets. I will say we overrate passing play volume sometimes. Really, you want to be on a quality offense. That's the biggest thing is going to boost you in your fantasy score. So I wouldn't want to get carried away. But I would say probably 24 out of the 32 teams. This is just off the cuff. Would probably be an upgrade for Brandon Ayuk. Imagine if he landed, I know we always talk Bills, can't talk Chiefs anymore because they've got everybody. But if he landed with the Bills or just another team with a quality quarterback that doesn't have a true wide receiver one, because I do believe, and that's where I want your thoughts, Ian, looking at the underlying data, like if Brandon Ayuk played for the Cowboys last year, I'm not so sure he doesn't put up the same number CD Lamb.
I mean,
player.
All of this, quote unquote, real life stats just to analyze these guys tell us that Ayuk is one of, I don't think he's the best wide receiver in football. I think that honor goes to Justin Jefferson, but top five.
I don't doubt that he's in the same tier though.
Yeah.
I think he might be in the same tier. It's kind of like AJ Brown, what we just talked about with him. He's in the same tier as Justin Jefferson, talent wise. It's just he's had to compete, with Devonta Smith. He hasn't been an offense that throws for 275 yards per game like Justin Jefferson has. I mean, Kirk Cousins is a better, pure pocket passer than what we're getting from Jalen Hurts. So there's these little deciding factors, which is why I build my tiers the way I do. Talent is always our baseline. We want players that are talented, that have produced in the past, but then you have to start layering in, okay, who's the quarterback? Who's the competition for targets? Do you actually have a good play caller that dials up the cheat codes? So Shanahan gets a lot of cool things working for him in that area. But yeah, whenever I look at AJB and the scheme upgrade, and then I look at Brandon Ayuk potentially getting to play somewhere where he's the clear number one, I think both of those guys can be tier one wide receivers.
Dwain, any preference on where to draft this year, early, middle versus late from Miguel? Personally, I tend to like getting one of those top 3 spots when possible. Give me McCaffrey, CD, or usually Tyreek, and then just some of the options at the 2-3 turn, being able to get Achane in there. And I consider it relatively flat in that wide receiver 2 range. So again, whether it's Kupp or Neighbors or Waddle, I'm pretty happy with those.
Coming up on us, and we can come back. I think it's a really good question, and we can come back to it. So Hurts just went. We got 2 picks till it's us. Tank Dell is available at wide receiver. If we wanted a 4th, we have to start 3 full PPR. We also need a flex. Trey McBride available at tight end. I don't see a running back I would want here because I know you're with me. I don't think we would either want to click on Josh Jacobs.
No.
So
maybe
not. Maybe in 3 rounds. Well, there Josh Jacobs goes, Tank Dell at pick 44. I'm down for that. We're just getting to take ADP fallers.
Sign me up.
So my answer on that question is I still generally speaking, almost always prefer the middle. There are occasional years where your tier breaks land just in front of the middle and it gets weird, where they cut in front of you on the way, on your odd rounds, 1, 3, and 5. And then also they cut against you in the even rounds, 4 and 6. But this year I felt pretty good. When I'm in the middle of a draft, just being able to read the board and navigate and choose my strategy based on just the way the draft's going, and also make sure I don't get cut off on positional runs, especially at quarterback if you're playing best ball. You know how it can get really crazy at your QB2 spot really quickly. Trying to get one of the last tight ends you want, it can get tricky. So I really do prefer drafting from the middle. It's also the spot where when people just kind of get weird and say, I'm just doing my own thing, and you get these huge ADP fallers. But I'm pretty much always on team middle. There's been 2 years in the last 10 where I didn't like the middle the most.
What is Team 1 doing taking Stroud with 0 Texans wide receivers? Things that, keep me up at night. But Dwayne, we are back on the clock. Who are some of the top players we're looking at?
So we can go Kincaid here. We could go Mark Andrews. I'm starting to lean Mark Andrews over Dalton Kincaid. Yeah. The Kincaid thing, it's just enough with Knox.
Let's go Mark.
Let's go Andrews. You good?
Yep. And we got that sweet week 17 correlation with Tank. So no Lamar coming, but that's fine.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. We're good. The Stroud thing being gone, but we've got Purdy, Derek Carr, Burrow. We've got plenty of options right now at quarterback. So no need to to stress about it. We'll stress about it later when they all get sniped. So let's
not
save that for then.
drafting a single running back in 20 rounds. That's going to be the first true 0 RB draft out there.
The one and only true 0 RB draft. Yeah.
So Dwain, again, it's early, and we're going to dive into, I think, these more specifics as we, next couple of weeks. But you're in a home draft, 12-team league. You can pick any spot. I think I would just go one-on-one, honestly. Give me McCaffrey.
No, I would definitely. I want the middle. I want one of Bijan or Brees to start, and then I want to come back and hammer all the. I like the cutoffs of the wide receivers better from the middle, and again, still getting to play things. I think Bijan and Brees are close enough to CMC, and we won't be surprised if one of them pass him this year, and they are at a better spot. Let's face it, from an age perspective, like I like being in the middle, and I think you just pick up some extra value with the way your draft plays out. I mean, obviously we love CMC, but if I got to pick, and I'm thinking where these guys are going in home leagues, I'm probably taking pick 5, 6, or 7, depending on my league, looking where I know I'm getting one of those true elite young running backs to start my draft. And if things go crazy and other people take them before me, well, then guess what? I know something like Tyreek Hill or Jamar Chase is in my lap, and I'm fine. I'm like, okay, great. If you guys want to take those 2 backs, then I'm good with you giving me this wide receiver.
Dwain and Jimmy eat world, all about the middle here. So good stuff. And again, I do tend to I'm still going one-on-one, but I see what you're saying there. Certainly, I think we both agree that, I'll take early or middle versus, kind of going at that 1-2.
Man, I hate 12 this year.
Yeah,
I will tell you, I have gotten pummeled down at 12. At 12, honestly, I throw everything out the window. And I stopped worrying about, I'm going to try to get this player to. No, I don't even worry about value anymore. I just build the team I want. I honestly, I just start taking the players I want.
Throws the hands up and says, screw it. So, all right. Appreciate you hanging out with us, Ape Fuzzy. Don't scare me with that CD to Steelers nonsense, though. I had to quickly check the notifications. That's life when you're live streaming here. But love all you in the chat. From Brian, in a super flex trade, I want to upgrade from Kyler to Hurts. Who's the most even add-on to get Hurts in terms of Diggs, Collins, or Achane? I mean, I'd be most willing to trade Stephon Diggs out of that group to hopefully, entice the Hurts owner. In terms of being even, I think it might be Diggs as well, because to me, Kyler and Hurts, it's almost like the ADP gap is unwarranted, in my opinion. So I would say, start off with Diggs. And honestly, I probably wouldn't accept it if it was Kyler and Collins. I wouldn't want to do that for Hurts. So,
yeah. So it's about to be on us. Do we want to take a running back here, or do we want to just keep going receiver?
What running backs?
Yeah, Marquise Brown is here. He's normally picked 56, so he's the guy falling. The running backs are David Montgomery, as you would say, Ian, Montgomery.
I don't even do it on purpose anymore.
We got Ramondre. We're not going Ramondre here. So I feel like it's Montgomery, or we take Hollywood.
I'm cool with Hollywood, and we'll get the running back in 7.
Okay, I agree.
Sweet.
Kind of, it's a flat spot there, and I like getting the other wide receiver. I'm with you. Good call, Hartitz.
Hell yeah, man. We make a great team sometimes. Okay. Sorry if it sounds like I'm spaced now. It's because I'm also doing the second draft on the side and trying not to miss myself there. So
I was with you on the last question though. Diggs. It's just it's when we look at all the factors together, like the age, is a factor for Diggs at this point. Like he's not at the point where you're expecting a cliff, but he's in the range where the decline starts and a cliff could happen. We're not expecting it, but it could happen. So I'm on the record as saying I'm not really concerned about Diggs this year as far as just like his talent evaporating. I have other concerns. He's got to deal with Nico Collins and Tank Dell, but we like Bobby Slowick. We like CJ Stroud. So I'm on the record as being, in on Diggs, probably not doing a complete faceplant this year. He's still fairly expensive in round 3. So don't want to make it sound like I expect a bad season from Diggs, but I would still agree with you. Like just once you factor everything in, that would be the player for me.
Yeah. So, Kyler and Achane versus Hurts, I kind of like the Kyler and Achane side. Same thing with Kyler and Nico. Yeah. Kyler and Diggs, that's where I'm like, okay, I think that's a pretty reasonable trade. So good stuff there. Miguel was asking earlier, are you guys out on Jacobs completely? And no, not completely at all, man. I always like to say, don't hate the player, hate the ADP. I think with Jacobs, it's just hard for me to warrant draft. I think Joe Mixon straight up is the better, definitely better value. And I would just take Mixon over Jacobs Jacobs straight up when it comes to who's going to score more fantasy points this year. So doesn't necessarily mean Jacobs that his ADP is bad, but just someone I haven't been going out of my way for. So if he still would have been on the board, at the next turn for us, in round 5, certainly could have seen us considering him more strongly. But where he's going right now, I don't think he deserves the benefit of the doubt, ahead of these other guys. But
all right,
Dwain
we can
like,
still get Montgomery here. Our other option is, I don't want to say the name out loud, but it goes with something else on our team.
Okay.
And it's a position we don't have.
Okay.
People can't figure this out.
I am actively. Oh, yeah, let's do that.
You rather do that?
Joey B, come on down.
All right.
Yeah, look where we're getting them too. QB8. I'm cool with that. Running backs are so overrated, but you know what isn't overrated, everyone? The fine folks over at DraftKings. Obviously, we are best balling right now, but UFC 304, it will also surely be a good one this weekend with 2 title fights, and you can even get closer to the action. Check out our partners at DraftKings Sportsbook. New customers who bet $5 will instantly get $150 back in bonus bets. I am a betting man, and I will be betting on UFC 304. And let me tell you guys, I am putting my reputation on the line with Patty the Batty, plus odds taking down Bobby Green, now King Green, in the featured fight of that one. So give me Patty the Batty again at plus odds. Love, love, love that bet this week. So again, new customers who bet just $5 will instantly get $150 in bonus bets. All you got to do is use our code FantasyLife. So again, guys, download DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use our code FantasyLife. Bet on Patty the Batty, and if I'm wrong, you can come right back here and yell at me after the fact. FantasyLife, DraftKings, gotta love it. The crown is yours. All right, Dwain, through 7 rounds, we have 0 running backs. Surely that won't come back to bite us, but pretty freaking solid wide receiver room. Chase, Olave, Ayuk, Dell, and Hollywood, Mark Andrews, and Joe Burrow. So really, getting Burrow there, what's nice is now we could just really wait. Even if we only got a Derek Carr to add on to this team, I think that would be okay enough. I probably prefer Purdy. We'll see what happens, but time is probably now to start getting some running backs.
Yeah, for sure. But getting Burrow there is the key, like what it does for you from a flexibility. I'm all about waiting on the quarterbacks, trying to line up your stacks perfectly. But I also think that there are times where it's just like, just go ahead. We've got Jamar Chase. We've already made that bet. Joe Burrow last year in the games where he was actually healthy, wasn't dealing with the calf injury, 22 freaking fantasy points per game, right on par with what he had done the 2 seasons before. There's a real chance, Ian, that Joe Burrow is Patrick Mahomes. You're drafting Patrick Mahomes multiple rounds later. Yeah. So I just think the proven upside of a guy like Burrow makes him worth it in this particular build, especially knowing that we were willing to, run with a 0 running back strategy, right? I feel like we're about to get a running back that's going to be in a starting role, or at least, the lead of a committee. And then we'll just pile on after that. So we've got 2 picks till us. There goes Najee. Had him in the queue.
Real
how
quickly,
much are you worried how much are you worried in Pittsburgh about CPAT? I know right now he's got the hamstring, not really doing anything, but it is Arthur Smith. And I will say, I love, and so there, as soon as you talk about it, there goes Jalen Warren. It doesn't matter, but it's still worth discussing. There's no room for a third guy here for these people to pay off their ADP.
Why would CPAT be more of a hindrance in Pittsburgh than he was in Atlanta last year? And he had the goodwill of actually putting up back-to-back really good seasons in 21 and, to a slightly lesser extent in 22 before that came along. That's where I think the stuff came with Bijan losing some of the reps that annoyed us. But those were 2 incumbent starters and leading rushers on the team that had, gotten some goodwill from the organization. So yes, I freaking love my guy CPAT, but I still think, man, kick returner, give him a couple more gadget design touches per game. I think he's an injury away from doing anything, of relevance and fantasy.
Raheem Mostert, come on down. You good?
Yeah. Hey, maybe he's a top 5 fantasy running back again. Happened last year. So
yes.
Good stuff there. By the way, Ape Fuzzy was asking if we are coffee drinkers. I absolutely am. This is one of my favorite cups right here. It's got a wonky handle, perfect size. I don't like going too big on the cups, the Christmas cups that they almost make them bigger to put chocolates in them. When you do that, I feel like the coffee gets colder, but give me 10 to 15% bigger than the normal cup size, and we are in business. But yeah, I legit drink like a pot of coffee a day. It's probably too much, but you know what? Black coffee, whatever. So, Ape Fuzzy, you want to slide into the Twitter DMs, man? I would really, really appreciate that. And I know, Dwayne, you're always grinding some beans as well.
I drink 2 minimum per morning. My days usually start around 6 or 6:30. Get up, look at all the news from yesterday, adjusting projections and ranks, and there's no better time, Ian, than that to like just like guzzle some coffee. So yeah, I usually go through 2 cups just during that like 90 minutes of my life. Okay, so back to us. We can go with Tony Pollard here. I know there's been all the recent talks about Spears, but I don't think that necessarily means that like Pollard's any less. You know what I mean?
Any other running backs here?
Well, the one I wanted just went Brooks.
Okay, I'm cool with Pollard. Yeah.
All right, Pollard. Yeah, Brooks was. I was hoping Brooks would come back around. What's nice over on DraftKings is you get those big 3 letters OUT in red out, and it does push a player like that down. And the thing is, those are the things you want to take advantage of, guys, because we've known all along that Jonathan, Brooks was probably not going to be ready for the beginning of camp, right? Yeah. At least to the level where he would be participating in all the drills you would expect. So there was going to be some sort of negative news coming out around Jonathan Brooks at this time. But whenever you get it where it specifically says out like that, sometimes that works out really in your favor. You'll get in certain draft rooms where a player like that, I know you've seen these things, Ian, where they'll fall multiple rounds sometimes. Yeah. So it just really depends. And we've got a wild draft going on. I mean, Isaiah Likely went in round 7 of this draft to the guy that has Lamar Jackson. I know. I don't want these people
to get your guys
path because I don't want this draft to get thrown out. I don't think we're in danger of that right now because at least the Likely thing was a stack with Lamar.
Right.
And all of his other picks have made sense to me. I don't like Dalton Schultz in round 9. I don't know. That dude could slightly be trying to throw this thing. We'll see. I don't see anyone else like being like crazy. I didn't like Anthony Richardson, Kyler Murray back to back, but those are where they go. So
right. Hopefully not throwing out Laporta, and then you grab. What do you need Ferguson for? You just got Laporta, but I actually just drafted Ferguson over on my streak going on. So I almost drafted Zamir White, Dwayne. It was crazy. He was like 20 picks past ADP.
Then you should have 20. That's the one.
No, I didn't get a chance to. I was going to. Yeah, I was going to. He went right before.
I was to say, like, that'd be awesome. Like whenever you get to show your league winning shot of like a huge draft that you were in, and it has the guy you said you wouldn't take.
Dude, it's Zamir and Puka are just gonna freaking come back to murder me this year. And, I try to caveat everything, but that's boring, man. We got to come out here and just take stands. Not even if there's a fire when I draft Puka Nacua. 18th round and he's still there. I would never draft Puka Nacua. Clip that and put it on.
I mean, that feels like sound logic. I mean, to be honest. But, hey, I know you did your running back tiers. Mine came out the week before. You did yours this week. And it just happens to be the topic at hand here. I mean, we don't want to give things away, but who are some guys you like in this range that you think really have a chance to obliterate ADP? Because that's what we need, Mr. Hartitz, on this team.
Can you show me the available running backs, por favor?
I can.
Thank you.
I don't know if I will. Just got this thing all positioned for everybody. Now let's show you got to show Ian the players.
Sorry, everyone. Just being so selfish over here. Okay. This looks a lot like what I'm dealing with right now. I mean, we got our 2 guys already, so I feel actually okay going with more of the pure handcuffs. Brian Robinson.
I honestly, I say this is Brian Robinson Jr.
Yeah, I think so too. Let's go B-Rob.
And because B-Rob like has a role, and like Eckler, getting older. So if something happens, if he is truly washed, I don't think you or I think Eckler's as washed as everyone else. I think you and I think Eckler was hurt.
How about this? If Eckler gets hurt, I think Robinson has a higher ceiling than if Robinson gets hurt versus Eckler, because I think there's a better chance that Chris Rodriguez just takes some early down work and they don't really change Eckler's role versus like Brian Robinson, man. Why do we just assume this guy can't catch the football? Even he had a 35 catch season his last year at Bama. Last year, he actually went out there and did some good things. Hey, Brian Robinson made more out of his targets than Jahmyr Gibbs. That happened. Not saying that I would take Robinson in a receiving competition over Jahmyr Gibbs, man, but he's not this like Gus Edwards type of player where like we really just shouldn't ever expect him to catch the football. So Brian Robinson, man, I know. So that was one of Matthew Berry's things he learned from the combine, just before they signed Eckler, but still
back on
very,
us.
very high on him. So a couple handcuffs off the board. Who you like?
I think it's Zeke. I am also not against Spears at the discount. I know we already have Pollard, but I really like both players, and it would give you a differentiated lineup. People are so allergic to handcuffs.
What pick are we on?
These are both guys that.
Let's go Spears.
Which one do you like? You want Spears? You want Zeke?
Let's go Spears. I like that call. I haven't gotten many double ups, and you can talk about limiting the overall upside, but then you know what? I'm in a. I remember I was talking to Liam Murphy about this a year or two ago. And it's like, on the one hand, you can say you're limiting your upside, taking the 2 running backs from the same team. On the other hand, if you're trying to justify why you did it, you can talk about, how many teams out there could be in week 15 and win that week with Tony Pollard. Then he gets hurt. And then who has Tajay Spears, still available after doing that. So, we can talk ourselves into pretty much any pick. But from that range, man, Tajay going quite a bit past ADP, that's the time to do it.
Yeah. Pick 6 is probably going to get this draft canceled. Sixer, 2K8. Like, what are you doing, man? He just took Russ Wilson in round 11. Man. He's got Isaiah Likely in round 7. We're going to finish the experiment here. But this draft will likely get canceled. So we'll see what happens.
We will see what happens.
But the thing, what you were mentioning, with Chase Liam, like I 100% agree. Like you'll also hear Justin Herzig talk about this. You are increasing, your uniqueness because no one wants to do it anymore, right? So that's what happens with all these sort of things. Like something is an edge, right? Until everyone jumps over and tries to push the edge so much that suddenly a counter strategy to it actually now becomes the edge. Like, so think like DFS. Everybody wants the best matchups and everything, but once everybody figured out that, and they figured out, oh yeah, we should follow, the Vegas lines and all that, and how quickly everyone else adapted to that. And then it became, no, just give me the other guy that's going to have a 3% roster projection, because if I get it right, I'm different than everyone else. And that's like the same concept we're applying now, like to what you were just talking about with best ball. So how I kind of let that work itself out for me, it's usually an ADP discount like what we just got. We just got Tajay Spears. I want to say his ADP was 110. I don't even know what pick.
It was like I think it was even 107. We got him a bit after.
Yeah, so we got him at a discount too. So yes, we put him with Pollard. You get uniqueness, but we let that discount also be part of the guide.
And that's when I remember I was doing I got a question on one of the drafts, like willingness to go like with kind of 2 of the top 8 QBs on the same team. And it's like, well, when you have the chance to, when like a guy is going literally like 12 plus picks past ADP early, not even talking like, 150 versus 162 or something like that. That is the time to get a little bit wonky with everything. So just remember, because a lot of these, Dwain, I know you see it more than anyone when the stuff you kind of grind for projections and correlations, like what is optimal is sometimes optimal in a 1-year sample by like 0.1%. So
Charbonnet or Rico? I think you like Charbonnet more, right?
I do.
We got a better chance, I think, of Rico coming back.
Yeah, let's go Charbs.
All right.
Yep.
Let's take him. Tell the audience, Ian, why you love Zach Charbonnet.
I think he has 3 down handcuff upside, and a new coaching staff could perhaps give him a bit more standalone value than, there's a chance Seattle ends up looking more like Tennessee, man, just in terms of these guys being more 1A, 1B. So I'll give Kenneth Walker the benefit of the doubt with it, but I thought we saw some good things from Charb last year. And just the way Walker runs, man, the boomer bust running style, I don't think it's necessarily for every coach out there. So
yeah, it is very boom bust. Like he does things that amazes us. Marshawn Lloyd is a great comp to him. That's my worry with Lloyd. I really like Lloyd. I think the upside's there. He could literally in week 1, people go, man, this looks like Kenneth Walker. The challenge is some coaches don't like that. They just want you to go to the hole you're supposed to go to and do your thing.
But what was crazy was last year, now it was on less carries, which matters, but like Charb was actually more explosive than Kenneth Walker out there. So, maybe some injuries played a role in it, but really everything other than missed tackles forced, Charb actually was the superior running back. So yeah, we'll see with Rico, guys. Again, it could be a matter of we get the right camp report, and then all of a sudden Rico is flying up the board. So I certainly think they are in the same tier. Ty Chandler not too far behind them. So, Dwayne, we have ripped off 5 straight running backs, quickly solving that hole in our rosters. So we can maybe go away from it if we want to.
Yeah, I don't think we have to though, because we've got our quarterback and we spent so much draft capital on wide receiver.
So
I don't mind tagging one more here. And I mean, we just talked about him. It's Marshawn Lloyd. You talked about not liking Josh Jacobs. I think there is a ton of upside here with Lloyd, and there's potential. I mean,
as our RB6,
he is just the two. All right, we'll take Lloyd.
I'm a little worried about Dylan, but the thing is, it's not going to be like, all right, if something happens to Josh Jacobs, it's not like Dylan's going to keep Lloyd on the bench. I just think it would start looking more like Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon, which guess what? We always wanted Jones to get a bit more work than he actually did, but that didn't stop Jones from still being, an upside RB2, usually at worst during his time in Green Bay. So it's a similar thing with Kendre Miller, like before this whole injury thing happened again, where like, even if he is the preferred handcuff, I just think Jamal Williams and AJ Dillon could be a bit more involved than we're giving credit for. But getting Lloyd, falling into round 13 past those other guys, I'm cool with him as our RB6.
I moved Kendre this morning to the bottom of the tier I had him in.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just because it's like constant and the coach doesn't like it. So that's just a real thing, I mean, and I talked about this on Twitter, like, look, whether we like it or not, efficiency is not the prime guide to getting on the field as a running back. We've just seen it too many times now. We want it, and when you get it, you get a running back that's really hyper efficient, like Christian McCaffrey playing in a good offense, also getting all the touches. That's the mecca. That's what we all want. That's what you could be getting in Bijan Robinson and in Breece Hall this year. But for the most part, it comes down to like coaches trusting these players in different roles and coaches having a workload management plan that they just want to have in place and the way they think about backs. So it's a very interesting position, to think about. And it can lead to things like what you talked about. We look at it and we're like, AJ Dillon stinks, man. He's terrible. Shouldn't be on the field. Well, like a coach like Matt LaFleur has shown us, like he very much wants to have a committee. Could there eventually be a back that pushes him out of that? Yeah, but he doesn't have Bijan Robinson or Breece Hall or CMC on his team. If he did, I wouldn't expect him to continue on with what he's done in the past. Although you could argue Aaron Jones, maybe they were more worried about his health. I think Aaron Jones could have been an elite running back one back in the day, like had they just ever, committed to him. But it's very interesting. Like when you talk about running back workloads, it's so volatile. And I'm doing so much work in the offseason. I did a bunch of work in the offseason. We're going to have a utilization score for you guys. It'll be in all the tools. It takes all the most important things to predict future fantasy success. And I'm mainly looking at it for you in season, week over week, rolling 4 weeks over rolling 4 weeks. But I also look at it year over year. And the one that has the absolute worst carryover is running backs. Why? Because coaches have such a big impact on rotating players and things like that. And then you have the injuries on top of it. All right, Ian, it's about to be on us. So if we take Adonai Mitchell, he's way past ADP.
Let's do it.
We get a matchup against Tennessee in week 16. Or Mike Williams. He has the out next to him, but we expected this.
Yeah. Give me AD.
He gets Jacksonville. We don't get anything aligning on our schedule. We do with Adonai.
Let's go Adonai.
All right. AD Mitchell on the
I think
squad.
He's good, man. I think he's really freaking good. The whole push.
I think the ceiling is there. It's like the consistency. We don't know, like, can he really? Yeah. But he's definitely flashed the ceiling, which we care about.
Apes over here talking about taking Zamir White over Josh Jacobs. Man, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We can talk.
Well, they're very similar profiles, and it's not necessarily great,
right?
But yeah.
It's tough for me to get too excited. I mean, people act like Zamir White went out there the last 4 weeks of the year and just ripping off top 5 finish after top 5 finish, man. Like, all right, let's see the Raiders continue playing with leads and, Zamir White actually, having more than 2 highlight plays, and maybe I'll get excited about it. Hopefully Big Mike comes back to us. That'd be pretty cool. But any other options here we're considering?
Well, we kind of got into a little bit of a weird spot here with our QB2.
Yeah, they're flying.
And we can get the one.
Oh,
he just went. So it's fine. We just take Mike Williams.
Yeah,
it's good. All right,
come on down, Mike.
Yeah. So
by the way, you should never be that mad in life about not getting.
Man, we shouldn't have done that. We messed up. We should have taken Leggett.
This draft doesn't matter anyway because it's getting canceled because of Team 6.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
it's all kind
of because at this point now Team 6 is just carried on.
They took Chuba and
taking
John
everyone 4 to
12
5
and 13.
rounds ahead. Yeah.
But you guys could have
guys, look, don't be that person. Why? Like, that's my question. Why? Yeah. Why do you want to do that? Like, I don't get it. I don't get like the motivation for that.
Like, at least people like going out of your way to snipe someone's stack. Like, I don't even know if they're doing it on purpose, but I can see the humor in it. That's absurd. The one thing, I mean, when people get mad about a stack getting blown up and it's at around the ADP, even if it is like, you know, they don't have anyone to work with it. I mean, I think that's
looking
tough
at
to be
me
mad about. It's when, like, I've been in drafts before. I remember I had like both Dolphins wide receivers, and then the guy who already drafted Josh Allen takes 2 of 50 picks ahead of ADP, and it's like, all right, what are we doing here? You know, then maybe I'm chucking my phone across the wall and, you know, getting yelled at by my lovely wife. So different times to you know, be outraged. But Dwayne, what the hell are we going to do at QB2?
Yeah, even though this draft's getting thrown out, like, for the people watching, we did make an error there. We should have gone with Xavier Legette once Derek Carr went. So Derek Carr going is not a huge deal. He has the same bye week as Burrow. Yeah. So it's like I really only want to carry 2 quarterbacks on this team.
Yeah.
Because we already invested in Burrow. So the move was to go with Legette and then come back for Bryce Young. This guy here is taking Bryce Young. I mean, he's taking Legette and Adam Thielen. So
yeah, that was well done.
I would assume that, and he's the guy that got Purdy.
It'd be hilarious if he does.
And has no 49ers.
Who do you take? I'm just curious.
Sorry, Dawson Knox.
I mean, he has Josh Allen, but
I say we take Drake May with this pick, and then we just come back and grab like a Javon Baker, even if we had to, like a Kendrick Bourne. Yeah,
that sounds good to me.
The other option for us is Jermaine Burton stacked up here with Joey Burr. Joe Burr.
I'm cool.
We also have Demario Douglas on the board. We could try to go Demario Douglas first. Everybody behind us has 2 quarterbacks.
Pop Dougie.
Let's do Pop Dougie and then come back for May. Or do you want to just get May?
I think we should just get May.
All right.
Quit because we can, if we don't get Pop, we can still get other Patriots receivers. If we don't get May, we're looking really rough.
Correct. Good call. I like the call. Jermaine Burton's who I really wanted to click. I love Jermaine Burton. And it would be a double stack for us.
He's flashing, but we can either get him next, or worst case, we can get Yoshi at the end to a double stack.
Yeah, because Baker, we can wait. Javon Baker, we can wait on. Kendrick Bourne, like, no one will take until like round 19 or 20.
I'm curious. He's on.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire goes. Deneric Prince. Running with the 2s again, Ian. I think we heard this before last year, and then the dude couldn't even make the active squad any week.
No, but dude, Chiefs training camp, man. Justin Ross was ready to go for 1,500 yards last year. What are these beat reporters giving us out here? Come on. Kadarius Toney's apparently getting extensive reps with the starters. Unclear if that's at wide receiver or running back. People mocking the running back thing, though. Like, they've already used him as a running back, and he's actually looked pretty good. I mean, you know, the dude's best trade is as a ball carrier. I don't think it's like the most wild idea. What that tells me, though, is just like he's going to be more of a gadget type player. The allure of Toney was the hope that he could actually beat his team's wide receiver 1 once upon a time, and like clearly those days are over.
So with this roster that we have built,
Dwayne's like, I'm not talking about Kadarius Toney today.
No, I'm sorry. I'm listening to you, but I'm thinking through our strategy. We really only want 1 more wide receiver on this team. Because we invested 5 early. We took 2 at huge ADP discounts with Mitchell and Williams, so it was fine. So if we take 1 here, we've got to have a plan, you know, for these other picks. But I think if Douglas is here, we just make him the pick. If not, we can't do Burton if we're trying to have a stack with May, or we say May naked is fine, and so there goes Burton. So he makes that easy for us. So we'll take Demario Douglas, and we're done at receiver.
Sweet. All right. We saved it enough.
Yeah. So we need a running back. We need another tight end. So I'll put it over on the queue here. How's your draft going, Ian?
Let's see. I went.
You're like, I forgot about it. It's all
right. No, I'm going through it. Again, I went out to 104. Let me just get my board up here for everyone that cares. I went Justin Jefferson 104 because I'm getting a little more into the Jay Jetter's game. Chan round 2, Ayuk, Pickens, Terry, McLaurin to round out the wide receiver room. Anthony Richardson later got Josh Downs. Got a falling Rashee Rice to really round out the wide receiver group, which was nice. ASAP, Jake Ferguson, Tony Pollard, Brian Robinson, Chase Brown, sliding Dontavian Wicks, Marshawn Lloyd, Ray Davis, who I know someone you've been talking up more and more. Dwain seems to be getting some nice reviews out of Bills camp, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm in a similar predicament with the quarterbacks. I got guys like Russell Wilson, Sam Darnold, Justin Fields, JJ McCarthy in the queue. Great day to be great.
Yeah, and like if we didn't have Mark Andrews, like if we hadn't already put a big chip on Andrews at the last pick, like we might have gone tight end.
Yeah.
You get to this point in your draft and you really need to be thinking ahead. Like there's just a lot of difficult, decisions to make. You could make the argument that we still should have passed on Pop Douglas, knowing we could come back for Javon Baker later and taken, Chig or taking one of the tight ends. They're all going here.
Yeah, they're all gone now. We're going to have to get Zach Ertz, let's face it.
Yeah, well, and he has the same buy. So
no, God, these buys, man, they never work out. But they also don't matter when I accidentally do, because I always hit the draft button before I look at the buy sometimes, especially if you got like the 20-second clock. And it's just in my mind, it's like same buys don't matter as contrarian. If not, it's like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, and it sucks because Dulcich is another one that I'll take late. He also has the week 14 bye. Jaheim Bell, which could just be a very last round pick, week 14 bye. Like all the names I've been looking at tight end, I'm like, are you serious? Like all of them have the same damn bye. But at some point, I do think you have to make a decision. Are you that worried about the bye versus we think if you think Zach Ertz is going to be a starter, has a chance to be the starter in Washington, then you probably shouldn't care about the bye week. Right.
Yeah.
At the point where you're saying, oh, am I taking Zach Ertz or Gerald Everett?
Right.
To avoid a bye week
easy.
issue. Like you probably just take Zach Ertz.
Yes, but I think you're right with that one. So
oh yeah, I'm sorry. I mentioned your one true tight end
guy,
Gerald
man.
Everett. Maybe this is a Gerald Everett team. I mean, you just don't know.
Some of the scariest things you can say in 2024 fantasy drafts. Maybe this is a Gerald Everett squad. So maybe it is, Dwayne. Maybe it is. Braylon Allen lasting this late. Damn, that's a nice round 18 snag right there.
Yeah. Okay. So I kind of like Audric Estime here. He gives us the week 17 with Cincy. He gives us a game also against Denver. Against Tennessee in week 16. So we get back-to-back weeks of Estime, and we need a running back.
Yeah. And I mean, I think in terms of who is because everything's telling us, and as we thought, Javonte is going to be the lead back there. But I saw someone saying Jaleel McLaughlin is, like the handcuff. I don't know. It's similar to what we were talking about with Eckler. I don't think Jaleel's role is going to change if Javonte goes down.
It might expand some, but
sure. But Audric's
probably I'm with you. I think it's a split, and it's skill sets. Look at the skill sets. Look at the sizes, and just Sean Payton's history. I'm with you. I think it still ends up being some sort of split. I think the argument might be right that Jaleel McLaughlin is actually the better guy. That's going to have more value.
Yeah.
All right. So I think tight ends we can wait until the last round if we want one more running back here. We've got Tank Bigsby available. That would give us a week 17 correlation with Tennessee. We've got Roshan Johnson. No correlation, but if you like him over Tank, we got to pick though between one of those two.
Tank, I guess.
All right, Tank.
Sorry, I was also drafting.
No, I figured we're good.
Tank, horrible, but Jaguars coaches seem to like him. That's all I got.
Don't normally take 8 tight ends. I mean, 8 tight ends. I never take 8 tight ends. Don't normally take 8 running backs. But this is 20 round draft is important. And we waited until what round did we wait to? We waited till round 8 to take our first one. So again, rule of thumb, guys, when you're drafting, the easiest thing you can do to help you guide you through your picks is think about the capital you've invested. If you took an early quarterback, you're probably waiting longer on your quarterback. Even if you're getting a discount in ADP sometimes, it's still not the right decision to go ahead and take another quarterback. But when you wait, like we did at running back, then you want to have, and it's just all common sense, right? Yeah. You want to have more outs. You need more outs. You're acknowledging you waited this long, and the market is telling us this is the order these players should go in, and we just totally went against the market. We're like, oh no, the market's wrong. We're not saying that. We're saying, oh, the market's probably right, so we need to draft more, of these players. We need more running backs to have a chance. So we've got 8 on this squad now.
How are we feeling about the squad overall, Dwayne? That again, we'll get thrown out, but imagine if it doesn't.
Well, we'll see if it. I mean, it probably will, but I mean, I'm not for sure. I saw some weird stuff last year where there were a couple things like I didn't see get thrown out that I thought might. I think this one will, but I feel fine. I feel like what I'm learning also in these DraftKings drafts is you're much more likely to get sniped on your backup quarterback plans than you are like on other sites. So that's something that like I'm just adjusting to as I go. But I feel good. I mean, we got Joe Burrow with Chase. We've got Drake May stacked with one New England. We've got skinny stacks. We don't have any double stacks. I would like to have a double. But like roster construction wise, I feel good. I mean, we invested our draft capital at receiver, Jamar Chase, Chris Olave, Brandon Ayuk, Tank Dell. Then we got an elite tight end and Mark Andrews. Come back with Hollywood Brown, who fell down the board. Then we go with Burrow. So we're saying we like our quarterback, we like our tight end, we like our wide receivers, and then we did what we had to. We took a bunch of running backs. I don't know which ones are going to work out. I can't tell you, Ian, but
I'm just excited.
We have numbers.
I'm excited for Zach Ertz to give us 2 usable weeks with around 20 draft capital. That's what I'm excited about, Dwayne.
Zach Ertz went, so
no. Oh, my private chat was open and like it literally was blocking the one area of the screen that had Zach Ertz on it.
Yeah, he's gone. I keep scroll. I'm sorry, guys that are watching. I'm still learning to be the person sharing the screen here. And like what I scroll, I scroll the side one, and I'm versus the one that's in the draft board itself.
Someone drafted Waller. Maybe he'll unretire.
So I have a name for you.
Okay.
I mean, we're around 20. I'm not saying it till it gets here, though.
Okay, yeah, screw that.
Well, one of them, if the name I'm thinking of goes, we could go with the name that
I know that
our one of the co-hosts has given us.
We're on the same page. It's not
okay. So it's about to be. It's on us.
Yeah, it's.
I like Eric All.
Oh,
he really looked good in his profile. He just was hurt. Like he's out the beginning of camp, but that was expected.
What about Dolchich?
Well, he's same bye week. 14.
That's also Bengals bring back though. Who cares?
I know, but Eric All stacked with Joe Burrow. That's even better.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay, I'm cool with Eric All.
All right. Yeah, really liked his profile. The big thing with him, like the guys, like he ended up over, at Iowa, but just a lot of injuries were the issue with Eric All. He was just kind of banged up every single year, but like, man, when he was on the field, all the underlying stuff that we like to see, like the target rates were there, explosiveness, with the ball in his hands, like
whatever, man.
Relative to other tight ends.
He went to Iowa.
Do what?
He went to Iowa. That's all you have to say. No one
Shut
cares
up.
about any of the other things.
I got to remember now. I think he transferred to Iowa, but yes, Iowa was on the first. Yeah. Iowa was technically it's on his resume, so you can't really ask for anything more than that. So how about you, man? I'll scroll down to the right spot here and let you talk through what you think about our draft.
Yeah, I mean,
or if you want me to talk some more first while you're drafting,
now we're good. I'm in round 20, so it's fine at this point. I'm hoping Zach Ertz falls to me. That's where we're at over here. But no, I mean, look, I think our best case starting lineup gives us a lot of outs here. Like again, 5 deep, very strong wide receivers gave us the ability to really spend each of our picks rounds 8 through 12 on running backs to help shore that up. Got the Burrow and Chase stack. Mark Andrews could certainly be the overall tight end 1. He has done that before. And really, man, I think all the running backs we got, I mean, especially Mostert, Pollard, Robinson, Spears, like to be able to get 4 guys that have a chance to give us, weekly standalone value and have that sky high, just best case one injury away potential. I like having 4 of those running backs because, again, Chubb and Lloyd, probably not getting much out of them unless an injury happens. But hey, having them as RB5 and 6, easier to stomach. Thought we got some really good late wide receiver value with Mitchell and Mike Williams going where they did. And again, Drake May as kind of our last gasp quarterback, I think could have honestly gone a lot worse. If you look at all those quarterbacks, man, honestly, from rounds like 14 on, I think you can make an argument that May's ceiling is right up there with probably Watson as the highest, just in terms of, like, guess what? Drake May is a really good passer and he could run. Is he going to throw for 4,000 yards and 500 and run for 500 this year? I highly doubt it, but like that is in his potential, like best case, probably more future range of outcomes.
He's going to run when he's out there. I mean, he was 14% of the design runs in college. That was second in this class to Jaden Daniels. 11% scramble rate, also second to Jaden Daniels in this class. So we don't know when he's going to get on the field, but once he's out there, we'll see how much they use him in the design run game. Probably not as much as he was in college, but he's going to scramble.
Very much looking forward to seeing that. And then, Audric Estime, Tank Bigsby, 2 other just very late round guys that I certainly have been fun pulling the trigger on here in best ball land. So, would have preferred for our number 2 tight end not to be Eric All, but even then we were able to get a little bit of a correlation there with our Burrow stack. And I do agree with you. When I remember when that pick got made, and I go on the Cincy AM radio station still sometimes after living there. And, I was hyping up Eric All a little bit. So I agree with what you're saying. Hopefully this draft doesn't get thrown out.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like what we did in the draft overall. Like, I think you hit on all the key players. I think the thing to think about most, like for people listening and they're jumping into best ball, and you guys definitely, why are you not, if you're not doing it already? Love getting in over here at DraftKings, but like structurally, just doing what we had to do. And you mentioned it, take the wide receivers early, you get an elite tight end. That's your chip. Joe Burrow is your quarterback in this. I love what Pete says, right? In this universe, because you're drafting so many teams. So you've got a multiverse, but in this specific version of your multiverse, this universe that you're looking at, Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow are going nuts. That's the bet you made. So you didn't get one of the other great. You didn't get Purdy as your QB2, but I'll be honest, like when I get Burrow here, I don't often take a guy like Purdy 2 or 3 rounds later, especially on a team like this. Like, had Purdy even made it to us, Ian, like where we took Brian Robinson, I think we still have to take Brian Robinson. Based on how our team's set up, even though we're passing the Purdy Ayuk stack, I think Robinson still is the better pick. Coming back, if Purdy falls to you there, then maybe you take him over Spears. But I honestly think we end up feeling better about the team not having taken, a second quarterback earlier. So I like what we did as well. Eric All is a definite long shot, but we made the best of the situation. All the backup tight ends went. So it's like, okay, fine. We'll take one that could play with our quarterback. And key guys, when you're trying to win all the money at the end of the year, who's the tight end that might have that chance to finally be out there and they want to see what they have in him, kind of thing. Like, well, maybe it's Eric All. Give him a chance to get through training camp. We know he's banged up to start. It might take a little bit for him to kind of get the motor running.
The Eric All team is what they will remember this day as, Dwain. But appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, code FantasyLife over at DraftKings, $5 to get 150 in bonus bets. Pretty great deal. Also would invite you guys to go check out our draft champion tool over at FantasyLife.com. Look, I've obviously, I work for FantasyLife. I'm well aware of the tool. I've been aware of it, but even just, using it more and more often, it continues to amaze me. And if you're like Dwain and I mean, we've been so in the best ball weeds. It's really helpful having the ability to customize these league settings and just get some mock redrafts done. As much as I do believe that, best ball helps give you some really good reps and everything versus some of the mock draft scenes you see out there, I think our, just dev team has done such a great job, again, giving you realistic live reps that happen quick. You get instant feedback. And again, just giving you the opportunity to make some mistakes, in redraft land before you get to your home league draft, learn from them, and then go just beat the absolute shit out of your friends, because why else are we playing fantasy football than to do just just that. But fun time, guys. We're going to have a break off from this next week. We actually have a Fantasy Life team like rendezvous thing going down to New York City. Going to be crazy there in the Big Apple, seeing everyone in real life. But yeah, Fantasy Life show will still be going on 9 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. Make sure you check that out for more of myself and the great Mr. McFarland, amongst all the other Fantasy Life personalities we got going on. So appreciate you guys tuning in as always. For producer Matt, for Dwayne, I'm Ian. Thanks again for tuning into the Fantasy Life show, stream, whatever you want to call it. And until next time, take care, everybody.